Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that we can be here today and we can listen to a conversation with my friend, Miss Lena from Turkey. I wanted to do this interview because I have met a lot of people from Turkey, but Miss Lena stands out because her accent is fantastic. Her English level is really high, and I think it's a really good example for Turkish speakers or any English learner to see because Miss Lena is proof that you can also be like this. It's difficult for me to sometimes say, give advice on how to improve your English because I'm a native speaker. This is my own language. But Miss Lena here, it's not her native language. She has learned, she has spent hours and hours. So I think it's really important to hear her. And also, for anybody that is a native speaker that is here, I want you to also think about the struggles that non-native speakers go through and the process of learning English because it's not easy and we need to have more respect for people who don't have English as their first language. So, yeah, and this is also the first interview on my channel. Hopefully, there'll be many more. So, thank you, Miss Lena, for being the first one. And I'm really excited for today. So, Miss Lena, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Who
First,
are you?
first of all, thank you, Emmy. It's an honor of me actually to being on here on your channel. Well, I'm from Hatay, but it's a beautiful antique city in Turkey. And I'm also English class student in Turkey. That's why I learned English first of all. And
I remember you are in high school, right? Or at the end of high school?
I finished high school last year, and now I'm taking a gap year. For the next year, I will be at the uni.
Oh, great. So you're taking some time out. Why did you decide to have a gap year?
Well, in Turkey, maybe many students they know that gap years was not always good, as the English people think, or as the European, Asian people. They are thinking that the gap year is always good. We're traveling around the world, which is actually wrong because we are all the time consistently trying to study. And when you're studying your you have to survive with your mental health. You have 1 year and you don't know whether you're going to do good or not, or you have to control the stress and you have to control everything. And I'm always thinking as well, I'm going to do, or I don't know, how can I do? Even if my English is really good, there's so many prefaces in Turkey and they can write the questions tricky. And I don't know, maybe English class students, they know that in Turkey actually. But I'm just saying to them, just be relaxed and do gap year. It's gap is always good actually when you're trying to study, but as I'm saying to you, you have to survive with your studying things actually. It's okay to take a break. I'm doing like this.
Wow, it's a good lesson to learn when you're young. So this is the introduction, but you've already told us about yourself. So the second question, how did you start learning? And was it difficult at the beginning?
At the beginning, of course, for me it was very difficult, but then I explored the Queen's English and then I listened to her. And I told you this, maybe you remember that I was always listening to BBC accent. And I was always following the royal family, Kate Middleton or Prince William or King Charles. I was always inspired by the royal family. That's why I learned English actually. And then I said to myself, I can learn their language because I just want to understand them because I always inspired.
That is very interesting. Wow. So the royal family inspired you to, wow. So when did you see them on TV? I don't know, was there some news about them that
I
inspired?
heard actually some news about them firstly in Turkey, actually. I heard that I don't really remember Prince Harry divided from the royal family. I heard that firstly. Prince Harry all the time. And then I saw Diana, and then yes, actually Diana inspired me to learn English. I just actually experienced first English things just with the Diana or with the royal family.
Wow. I'm sure Princess Diana would be really happy that even though she's not here, she's still inspiring younger people like
Mhm.
you to learn English. That's actually incredible. So, wow, very interesting reason to learn. Was also why the royal family? Is it the way they speak? Is it the way they dress? What attracted you to them?
Well, I saw the news 2020 of coronavirus, maybe I don't know these times, but they style or that they are posh actually. And I like actually learning posh things. I always have admired posh peoples actually. That's why I just wanted to learn. And then I learned that.
So you like this, you like the upper class life or how do they live or how can I be like them? Was English something that you always enjoyed?
No, because in secondary school, I didn't like the English at all. I was always saying to myself, oh, why I have to learn English or the other things. But then when I started high school, my English teacher, her name is Eda, and she was always good. She was always good. Maybe she doesn't have a good vocabulary or pronunciation, but she always had a good grammar. And I'm just saying to, I'm just thankful to her actually.
Wow. So thank you to Edda and Princess Diana.
That's right.
Wow. But I like that. I think teachers are so important. And I think if you have a positive experience, that can change everything for you. So it's important for us to have good teachers in our life because they're very important people. I want to talk about your accent journey. So, why did you choose to have, we call it RP, a receded pronunciation or the Queen's English?
Proceed pronunciation.
And why did you? I know you're inspired by the royal family, I guess. You wanted to sound like them.
Firstly, I was always talking with the English peoples all the time. I couldn't realize that I have the posh accent or I have the modern RP accent. One day I was talking with one of my English friends from London, and she said to me, "Why you sound like me?" But I said, "I don't know actually. I don't know how to learn the accent. I think I learned the accent intuitively because I was always listening to the BBC accent. That's why you can learn the accent after intuitively."
Wow, I like that. So it was more of a, you didn't follow a method to learn this. You just
No, I didn't
followed
follow
the
the map.
So I'm guessing you were listening to a lot of RP stuff. You were listening to a lot of, so that must have influenced you.
That's right. That's right. Because I was always listening to the BBC, or I was always listening to Princess Diana, or I was. Do you know the Helena Bonham Carter?
Wow, so it was other actors as well. So British actors that you were inspired by, and then you, and also due to social
Exactly.
media, you can be a bit more connected with them, or you're exposed to more material from them. Wow, because I'm sure lots of people talk to me and they say, "Oh my gosh, my accent, it's so strong. How can I change it?" What would your advice be to them? How can you work on your accent?
Actually, the best method for me, they have to talk with a native speakers all the time,
Mm.
consistently, every day, and step by step. It's
Yeah.
like building a house, just trying to set up your basis.
And I like that. Focus on building the foundation of the house and then
Mhm.
focus on the grammar, focus on the understanding a bit more, and then the accent. Don't put pressure on yourself. Or also, do you think it's important to improve your accent when you're learning English?
For me, it's not important. No. As I said to you, I learned intuitively because I was always talking with the native speakers all the time. That's how I learned. But if they want and they're putting pressure on themselves, they don't have to learn the accent. If I can understand you, yes, you know how to speak English. Or if you can understand me, I can say your English is good. It's not an important thing. No.
I'm so glad that you said that because people are paranoid about their accent. They're so worried about it. And I personally think it's a beautiful thing. And if you have a Turkish accent, that's absolutely fine as long as you can
That's
be understood. So, people watching this that may be putting pressure on themselves to speak perfectly or speak like Miss Lena, if you want to do that, fine, but don't let your teacher or anyone tell you, oh, your accent isn't good. Maybe your pronunciation needs some help. If you're saying, I don't know, Gren rather than green, yes, we have a
right.
problem. But if we just want to, it's important just to understand you. And also, the majority of English speakers are actually not native. So you are the majority, and never let anybody tell you that your accent is bad because it's a little bit it can be discrimination if someone does that. So I agree with you, Maslina. I think it's a really, even though your accent is fantastic, no, the most important thing is being understood. Yeah.
And also, accent indicates that where you came from. I think it's a good thing
And you should
because,
always be proud of where you come from.
because always in Turkey, I was always hearing about why I have the Turkish accent, but which is actually fine because I can understand that where you came from, and then I can guess this girl from Turkey, or it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
No, that's so true. And I love that you're embracing yourself whilst learning English because it's some people that they even, or maybe they compare themselves to native speakers or whatever, but don't do that. It's beautiful to have an accent and it's unique. The fact that you can even speak English is fantastic. So don't worry about your accent. Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to move on to some learning methods here. So, you're going to give the people advice. I think my experience with English learners is the biggest problem I face with English learners is their confidence and their self-belief. And some people don't believe in themselves or they criticize everything that they're doing. And I think it's really important for learners to have that confidence and to believe in themselves because it doesn't matter how long you study grammar for, if you can't talk to people or you're worried, then you're not going to improve. What advice would you give to learners that want your level of English?
Well, they can read article, which is how I did the actually the accent thing. It is just associated with the reading essays or listening to essays actually. And I was always trying to read Shakespeare. I remember that, and I couldn't do it, and then I quit. And because the old English, of course, I can't understand. The old English is so hard for me. But they don't have a good grammar basis. They have to study.
Yes, grammar's important, but you don't have to it doesn't always mean that you will be that if you just focus on grammar, it's not the only way to be fluent. You are more fluent because you exposed yourself to the language, you listened to the language, you spoke to English people, and that improved your language more than reading a
Mhm.
book, right? Or just
Exactly. And the second thing, they don't have to worry about this because in 1 year, of course, you cannot learn how to be fluent in English. Of course, you can't do that. It will take time. But as I'm saying, they have to learn 12 tenses. They don't have to learn the gerund infinitive. But of course, I'm English class student. I have to learn the gerund infinitive or relative clauses. But they don't have to if they're not English class students. And just it will take time because for me, I just learned how to speak English in 5 years.
wow.
That's why.
That is important. It's a journey. It's not, you can't learn English in 3 months. Maybe you can. Maybe that will be the next interview I do. But it takes time and it's not in this world. Everybody wants things now. Food, oh, I want my food now. Delivery. Oh, Amazon, I'm going to order this present. I need it tomorrow. We are so impatient. And I think learning a language forces you to be patient with yourself because it does take time and you can't, it's a journey. It's not, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mhm.
That's a good phrase. And also, how did you become so confident speaking English? Because this, I'm sure once you weren't confident.
Firstly, I was not confident while I'm trying to talk with someone. I
Mhm.
was always trying to cope with my confidence, firstly. But then I learned it's not a bad thing to learning a new language or trying to talk with a new language. And then when you became confident about this, always the people they're going to say to you, oh wow, how you became confident, and they're always going to appreciate you. And I was always trying to talk around people. Firstly, of course, I was not confident at all, but they can do that with talking with the native speakers all the time.
You said, I'm going to just speak to more people. I'm going to speak to more
Mhm.
native speakers.
That's how I learned the vocabulary actually.
This is very important, and I think I think that's why it's important to have, if you have a native speaker friend, fantastic. But if you don't, there are, you can find native speakers. There's lots of applications online. And also, if anybody does want classes with me, I do have my own class as well, so you can, that's an option. I think the more you speak to native speakers, the more you think, oh, they're not scary, it's okay, they're helping me, and it will build your confidence. So I think that's a really good
Mhm.
thing that you did. Did you ever record yourself speaking English?
I did. I was doing this all the time. But when I'm listening to my voice, I was saying, no, it just sounds like really bad. It's not sounds like the Queen's English, but it was so bad actually. But still, I'm recording. No, I'm not recording actually.
Well, you don't need to now. You're happy.
I'm happy with my accent, so
I remember I had a Spanish test when I was 15, I think. And I remember I had like an iPod and I recorded myself. And then I listened to this recording overnight on repeat in my headphones. And I don't know if it
mhm.
helped, but I remember doing that, being like, hola, recording, me llamo Amy. My name is Amy. I was, oh my gosh. But I definitely think it helps. I think it's a really good thing to do, and you can listen to yourself again, and lots of people do that. I want to move on to some of the challenges of speaking English. So, what sounds in English are the most difficult for Turkish speakers?
I was talking with the English teacher. He asked me this question once. What's the most difficult thing when you're pronouncing the sounds in English? And he was saying just in general, I think, for example, through, thought, thorough, these are the most difficult to do. And the other one, actually, maybe it can be when you're saying village, but they're saying village. W sound, I think they can't do that. They are thinking
Really?
that they are saying village, and which is actually wrong. No, that they're not doing this sound. Sorry for this, but of course, as I'm saying to you, through or thorough or thought, these are the most difficult to do. And thank you while you're trying to do. It's so difficult. Even if I struggled while I'm doing these sounds, but then I fixed talking with the native speakers all the time.
There you go. You helped yourself. That's very interesting. Yes, the TH sound is
Mhm.
quite difficult. Through, though, three, things like
Exactly.
that.
It's so difficult.
Well, even some people in the UK, they say like free. They'll be like 33, fa, 30, free
Hmm.
with a,
30.
or they'll say through. I'm going through. So that's funny, isn't it? Maybe for some people, they also struggle with the TH, so they turn it into an F instead.
Well, yeah, that's right, actually. But I never heard of it actually when they're saying like free. I was always seeing thought or something. I heard that in Liverpool team. Maybe you know that because you're English. I don't know if you know that.
Their accent is different as well. If anybody is struggling with the TH sound, we sometimes don't even say it. So just do what we do and add an F. How can learners practice speaking without being scared of making mistakes?
They have to do mistakes. Without mistake, you can't learn it. That's why I did. That's because in the first place, I was saying to all the time myself, I have to do this great. But then I learned that without mistake, you can't learn language or you can't learn any other things. You have to do the mistakes all the time.
Wow, I love that answer. I think I agree with you completely. People are so afraid of making mistakes, but that is a part of learning a language. You will make mistakes. And you have to overcome that fear because you're not, no one's perfect, especially when they're learning. So I agree with you completely. Let me ask you this one. Oh, why should students follow creators like me? Do you think it helps them?
I think it helped me a lot. And there's so many native speakers, I can't understand them. But
Mhm.
I think they have to follow your videos because now I'm following your videos actually, even if I have the proficiency for English, but I'm following you all the time. And I think your content actually it's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm also inspired by other creators and also Miss Lena. Absolutely, you'd be a great person to get involved on social media if you want to, because you're an inspiration to other learners because you've been in their position. So definitely, why not? It could be a really good opportunity for you. So yeah, I encourage you to do that. I think that'd be really helpful, and you can help other
Thank you.
people.
Thanks.
Um,
One day, why not?
yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe after this.
Maybe, I don't know,
Who
but maybe.
knows?
Thank you.
And we're going to the end now. I just have one more set of questions. So this is about your interest in the UK. Obviously, some of my followers, they know that I'm English and they're interested in British culture, so I think it'd be good to discuss that with you. What interests you about the UK?
I think they're gonna understand that royal family, the first. And the second thing, I know the history of the UK. And I'm trying to always follow the things like Anne Boleyn, maybe they know that, or King Henry, and all of the ancestors of the royal family I'm just following now. And I'm just trying to learn all of the things about the UK because one day I want to live there to learn their cultures and I just want to associate with the English peoples all the time.
Wow. So it's the royal family, their ancestors, you said, the history. I think I told you this before. You're an Anglophile. You're somebody who is not from the UK but loves the culture. You're like Anglophile. So it's I love hearing that. It's nice to hear that people are interested in my country. Do you think having an interest in the UK helped your English?
Of course, when you're learning a specific language, for example, English or French, I think you have to learn everything, the culture, because the culture inspires you, or you because you're saying to yourself, you have to learn English because you just want to go there. And that's how I forced myself while I'm trying to learn the grammar, trying to learn everything in English. Just they have to force themselves when they are learning the language and they have to I learn the cultures a bit because in one language, for example, when you're saying an idiom, they can't understand it. For example, when you're meaning in Turkey other things, or when you're going to the UK, you're saying to idioms in English but belongs to Turkish, they're not gonna understand you. So you have to learn the everything about it. Maybe they can start with the tutors like you so that they can inspire by you. I think you will be a great example when you're inspiring a person actually because you're the most English person I've ever seen.
Well, th thank you. I've been To be honest, I am English, but my ancestry is also Welsh. So,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I think it's important. You said it gave you more motivation to learn English because you were interested in the culture. And I was very shocked one day. I spoke to an English a student and I said her English was amazing. And I said, "Oh, where are you? Where do you think English comes from?" And she said, "America." So
Oh.
English was incredible, and she didn't know anything about where English came from, and she thought it was American. And that's when I thought, this is not, people do need to know. Like, it's not, uh, it's a bit sad coming from the country of English and having someone think that the language is from, I was just like, this needs to stop. So I definitely think it's important. Even if you, I would say to people, choose your English. Choose American English if you love the accent and you think that's amazing. Then learn about America, involve yourself in that, do your research. If you like British English, fantastic. Learn, do what you're doing, Miss Lena, and learn about the culture, learn about the history, because it does, you're right. The language, some of the things we say, some of our references to things make sense. In English, we have a lot of references, like idioms that involve things on a ship. A lot of, let me think of an example. Oh, I need to show you the ropes. What does show you the ropes mean? Let me teach you. Let me show you the ropes. And it's reference to when they used to pull the ropes on the ship.
Exactly.
Ropes would be really important. But if you know the history that the UK had a lot of ships and a navy, and that's why it
Yeah.
adds more context to the language and it makes it more interesting. So I think it's really important to learn about English culture or American or whatever. So, Miss Lena, do you have a favorite British word or expression?
Well, actually, I don't know if they've seen that man drinking the tea and it was saying, "Oh, that's bloody nice." So I love these words, to be honest with you.
That's true. People do say that. Oh, that's bloody good. Yeah.
Exactly. That's my favorite word, actually.
Bloody hell. Something like
Bloody
that. You like that. I think the interesting thing with British English is there is a lot more. Well, there's differences even from Liverpool to London. They're not that far away, but there's different things that they'll say. So it's quite an interesting language in that way. One more big question for you, which is I think I know your answer. British English or American English?
course British English for me because where English came from, I always thought that why I'm learning American English, I have to learn the English because where the original English came from, I mean, British English is the one.
Well, thank you. You're right. I think some people love American English. American English is, you're more exposed to it. They use more simpler sentences usually, so
Mhm.
that's good for learners. However, I think British English has its own charm, and if you love history, if you love the accent, then definitely go with British English for sure. Well, Miss Lena, I've got through all of my questions. You have been an incredible guest, and I'm really proud of you for doing this and also showing other people that, telling them about your English journey and hopefully building their confidence too. So I guess I could finish with a question. Maybe you can speak to the audience now, whoever's watching. Do you have a message for them? Or so that maybe they're English learners. What's your message to them?
I think my first message would be English is a bad hobby. It's not a bad lesson. You can learn with the English, maybe with the video games, with the all of the things, movies, TV shows. They can learn actually with these things. Because when you're trying to study, you can't do it. You have to do some hobbies in your life about English. That's what I did. And the other things, please don't put pressure on yourself while you're trying to do accent because it will come after you build the house. When you're building the house, you will understand that how important it is when you're building the house actually. And then the second, the roof of the house, you will understand that you can do the accent, but you don't have to do the accent because it's not necessarily important thing. And I'm thinking that for myself, I didn't like the Turkish accent for me actually, but I will say to them, please don't shame on your accent and do not put a lot pressure on yourself. They can do it. Even if the people that they're going to say it to them, no, you can't do it. Yes, they can do it, like me.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
No problem. That's a wonderful message. It's enjoy English, I think what you're saying.
Just enjoy.
You loved watching Princess Diana videos and you found that was enjoyable for you. For other people, like you said, I love you mentioned video games. Some people they can learn English whilst playing video games with other speakers.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You have to find the way that you can enjoy learning. If you're bored when you're reading a book, that might not be the best way for you to learn English, so just change it up. And also, thank you. I'll finish there, but thank you everybody for watching this video. I will definitely be uploading more of these and maybe inviting Miss Lena back if you want to ask her some more questions. But this has been great, and I hope all of you benefited from this conversation. It's really important to just share our stories and encourage each other and build more of a community. So I'm really happy. Miss Lena, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's an honor as to you. Thank you. I'm really happy.
And you can see her handle on the screen at the moment. We need to encourage her and support her because she would be a fantastic teacher. So let's encourage her, let's build her up.